welcome to the Stop and Consider podcast. This is episode 8 of season 2, and my name is Derrick Mars, and I'm here with my co-host,
JT Worth.
How you doing, JT?
I think I just licked the microphone. It's kind of weird.
That is weird.
So
Please
listen,
don't do that.
this was pointed out to me, not to me, but I heard this the other day, and I thought it's such a great thing.
Okay.
No one, absolutely no one, can prove that you were not like a regional manager, district manager at like Radio Shack.
Because they no longer exist?
Yeah, like Circuit City,
Yeah,
Toys R Us. So like when you're filling out, job applications, this is a tip for folks out there that are listening. If you're filling out an application for a job or you're writing up your resume.
So if you need to like bolster your resume.
Yeah, like if like
regional manager.
I would have to do that because I'd write my resume and be like, there's nothing there that anybody would want. So like, yeah, I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond for 17 years. And
I could see you working at Bed Bath & Beyond.
You know what? That store was great. I did enjoy going
and
in
Bath
that
and Body Works. I could probably see you do
No,
that
Bath and Body, no.
No?
No, because I'll tell you why.
The
it
smell.
Stinks in there. My wife drags me in there every now and then, when there's the big sale, buy one candle, get 12 free or some jargon like that. And then you get the matching fluff and puff soaps and all that. It's horrendous. So then my next thing is you had said something about your tea this morning, which I thought was a little interesting. Yeah? Did you tell us about your tea this morning?
I did a little half and half. Half sweet tea, half unsweet tea.
Is that because you're so sweet?
No, it's because the tea many times is a little too sweet.
Really?
Sometimes it's a little molasses, like super syrupy, heavy sugar. And so I try to balance it out. The problem is that now it only tastes like unsweet tea. It is not.
It tastes like a Diet Coke.
It tastes like it. I don't know if it tastes. I think I'd rather have a Diet Coke than a sweet tea. No. Yeah, so it's a little lackluster this morning.
You went to McDonald's too, that's surprising.
Yeah, I had
You're in the area.
I had an early morning.
Okay.
And my plans changed a little bit, so I had to dash out the door a little early.
Yes.
And so I did not get a chance to eat breakfast before I left.
Got it.
So I needed to get something, knowing that it's going to be a long day today. So.
I'm not drinking half and half. This is full octane, 100% Dr. Pepper.
Is that your second?
That is my second, because it's Monday and I'm dragging a little. Yeah, so this is my second one. I'm 2 in, or on the way to 2 in. The other thing that's concerning me with you is with this half and half. Last week we had some. I don't know. Can we mention Jersey Mike's? Well, we just did.
Well, you just did.
But yeah, we had a fellow here, and he graciously bought us all lunch at Jersey Mike's. Yeah. And you ordered that rosemary Parmesan bread. I'm wondering about your man card.
Listen,
like most men are the rosemary Parmesan.
Have you ever had the rosemary Parmesan bread?
I'd be embarrassed to order it.
Don't knock it until you try it.
No, I'd be embarrassed to order it.
Don't knock it until you try it. It's fantastic bread.
I'm not that tall. I'm like 6 foot. It used to be 6'2", but the older you get and the plumper you get, it's like it's shrink. So I'm like trying to
gravity.
Yeah, I've been like doing just hanging, not pull ups because I don't think I do it, but just hanging, trying to stretch back to 6'2". But anyway, somebody of my build standing at the counter at Jersey Mike's or any of those places, can I have the rosemary Parmesan? I don't think so.
You should just try it. Next time you go to Jersey Mike's.
Next time you can just give me a little piece of yours.
Yeah, because I'm not going to give you a piece of mine. I'm going to eat
I'm not going to go there and order that. That's embarrassing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Listen.
And do you get spinach instead of lettuce?
No, I do straight lettuce.
Okay.
No, the shredded lettuce.
Yeah, shredded lettuce.
But I do have oregano. I have them put oregano on it.
That's all right.
Whatever. I like the Jersey Mike spices.
Yeah.
Listen, don't knock the rosemary Parmesan until you try it.
I don't know if I'm going to.
So speaking of Jersey Mike's.
To me, it's all about the bread.
Which is why you need to
white.
This is white, just has rosemary and Parmesan on it. It's great.
Speaking of Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, so we went there yesterday for lunch after church.
You did? How about that?
And so Reagan, Bryce, and myself, we always get rosemary Parmesan, right?
You got the kids bring
Marie likes wheat, which is fine. Totally cool. So anyway, I
think I would go wheat before I went rosemary. I'm being honest.
You're out of your mind. So we order, and so the guy is there, and he's like trying to get everything like lined up for the other people, because he's just trying to keep the thing moving, right? So
the meat and cheese man, right?
The meat and cheese man,
Gets
so
it
he
on the
gets
bread,
the bread,
then he slides it down for the veggie man,
right?
Or woman.
So then my family, we get ourselves in order of how we placed our order, right? So it was Marie, and then Reagan, and then Bryce, and myself.
Trying to make this easy.
Exactly, just trying to make it real simple.
Yeah.
So we start going through, and then you got that section where they're like, okay, who's got this one? What do you want? And so they kind of go through, and you start putting all your toppings on. So we start going through, and all of a sudden we realize that Marie got a rosemary parmesan, and the last one left is the wheat one.
Oh.
Now, Marie puts everything on hers. Tomatoes, pickles.
Forget Mike's way. It's Marie's way.
Yeah, she does the Mike's way plus
Marie's
it's
way.
All that.
Marie Mike's way.
Yeah, and I cannot. No, thank you. Can't do it.
But then
it's all mushy
and
gross.
and
no, I can't do it. So we're sitting there. I'm like, oh man, I'm stuck with the wheat bread.
This was you?
This was me.
See?
And I was like, bah.
See? If you just stick with white bread.
I will have to say, my entire family, they were super gracious. They were like, do you want some of mine? Do you want to switch?
Yeah, but what toppings do they have?
And I'm like, no. The closest one would probably be Bryce. See, Reagan likes tomato, and I hate tomato.
Yeah.
Bryce would have been the closest, but I was like, no, I'll just eat the wheat bread.
What do you put on as your toppings? That's my question.
Mayonnaise, lettuce, and oregano. If I do the club sub.
Okay. All right.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
All right.
Yeah.
My mom, when she gets, she likes Subway. Mm-hmm. So if I pick her up a Subway sandwich, if she's getting like a tuna or something of that nature, she wants them to oil and vinegar the bread first.
Yikes.
Then whatever, then the toppings, then oil and bread again, or oil and vinegar again. And I'm like, this thing is you just eat it with a spoon like sherbet, because it's like a tuna flavored sherbet bread because it's so mush. Then it's like 25 minutes home, and then she probably doesn't eat it right away, and then
doesn't she microwave it?
Ugh.
Man, there's something about getting a.
Are you trying to get
tuna?
Are you trying to get me to
salad,
have like another issue like the last
another spew
podcast? Yeah.
There's something about getting like tuna fish sandwich or something like that, like tuna salad at a Subway, or even a Jersey Mike's or any kind of sub place. I'm just like,
that's like
I don't
like
can't
tuna.
do it.
I used to eat tuna. I don't anymore, and it was Subway that ruined it for me. But that's just like egg salad. I love egg salad sandwich.
Yeah.
But I'm not big on eating at other places because it's like, how long has that been around?
Yeah.
Like, did you make it when?
I don't feel good about it. The only kind of like meat-ish salad that I like.
Ham
salad from Honey Baked Ham is
amen
fantastic.
To that. Yes, amen to that.
And when Chick-fil-A used to do their chicken salad, man, that was good.
I think your wife and I just mentioned that the other day because she was eating Chick-fil-A the other evening, and I had already had my Wendy's, but she was eating that. And I said, remember when they had the chicken salad sandwich on that, like, I call it like birdseed bread.
Yeah.
It's like
it was really,
whatever
really good.
Oh.
But you used to be able just to get like the cup or a bowl of the chicken salad and just eat it straight out of there. Oh, it was so good.
With a little
Chick-fil-A, if anybody
you're listening, any corporate Chick-fil-A,
bring back the chicken salad.
Yes. Yeah, we demand it.
Yes. Now.
Okay.
And actually make a wrap out of it as well.
Ooh.
Right?
They're cool chicken cool wrap.
Like they're not bad.
They're not
Give
bad,
me the
but
chicken
they're not
salad
that chicken
wrap.
salad.
Give me the chicken
I
salad
do like
wrap.
that cool wrap. It's not bad. So one more thing too, Dan. Speaking of those lighter drinks, my wife Danielle, the other, I don't know when it was, recently, we were at Chili's, and it might have been on Easter. Actually, we went to Chili's on Easter for lunch.
Nice.
And she
risen.
she start watching what she's eating and counting calories, so it drives me crazy. But anyhow, bless her heart, she's doing well. I'm so proud of her. But anyhow, she ordered a Coke Zero because she's trying to watch the intake, kind of like the half and half tea.
Yeah.
They're horrendous. Like, if it comes down to the zero or the full bore or water, if I have to drink the zero, I'll just drink water.
Really?
It's horrible.
I would do this.
It's like Diet Coke with an extra splash of Windex in it. It's terrible. Terrible. I'd rather just drink water. Thank you.
That's not too bad.
But anyhow, that's I think that's all I have is for us today.
Those are all of JT's notes for this
all
entire
my notes.
episode.
We're done. I hope you got a lot of spiritual inspiration out of that. I do want to address our last podcast.
Okay.
In case anybody did see it, I've collected myself. I've got myself together.
We appreciate
hoping that we're not going to have some sort of a debacle like we did last time.
It was a debacle.
But I do hope, as I watched after the editing, I enjoyed every minute of it. And I do hope everyone else enjoyed it too.
Yeah, same here. And just for anybody who did watch that and you're curious as to what was taking place during the standby moments,
it was called cleanup.
Don't worry, we have all of the footage.
And for the right amount of money, we'll sell it to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Be careful. Watch out your TMZ stuff.
Why?
It might show up at some point.
Why we had to cut is because it was called cleanup. Because there was Dr. Pepper and
everywhere.
Jelly bean particles.
We had to get JT off the floor.
Right.
It was
a mess. But
it was a lot.
I hope everyone else enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed it when I saw the edited.
It was so
version.
funny. We were cracking up about it. There's no doubt about it.
Great. All right.
Well, today's episode has nothing to do with anything that we've talked about.
Anything that we talk about, but that's good.
Yeah.
Because now we got them all locked in, and now they won't leave. They have to watch it or listen.
Maybe so.
Right.
So today's episode really is in celebration of a very important day.
Yes.
Which honestly, I would probably say is everybody's most favorite day of the year.
Favorite day?
April 15th.
Or least favorite day.
April 15th.
It's our favorite day of the year?
I mean, well, at least maybe your CPAs.
Yeah, because they're all
their favorite day.
Because April 16th, they're all down at the new car lot because they just made all that money. Okay.
So April 15th is tax day. And hopefully everybody has done their taxes. Has done their taxes, has filed them. If not,
because today's the 13th. We're actually filming on the 13th.
We're filming this on the 13th. You technically have 2 days left.
Yeah, you have 2 days, and you better hurry. Oh, yeah.
Unless you file an extension.
Right. And if you're mailing anything in, you're done.
Yeah, just forget it. You should have.
Well, no, I guess you have to have it postmarked. That's right. Postmarked
right.
by the 15th. That's right. It doesn't have to be there. Just postmarked by the 15th. But good luck because there's only like one person working at the post office now, and they only have one arm. So it's really slow.
It's not very good.
That's why I wore my green shirt.
For tax
in
day?
honor of money. Yeah, I did. Honestly, I was looking at my slim pickings, and we have to go out to work after this and do some manual labor. And so I had to, just one of my work, quote unquote, work shirts, not my good Carhartt. But I was looking at my selection. I thought, I'm going to wear the green one in honor of money for taxes.
Green for money. Look at that.
For our taxes.
For how much we have to pay.
For how much we have to pay. And so, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
We're going to spoil it. Yeah.
So today is we're going to be focusing on a passage of Scripture that I'm sure most people probably know or you've heard referenced in some way, shape, or form, or maybe even you say it grumbling as you're thinking about doing your taxes when we get there. And it's basically it's found in 3 different Gospels, right? Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
Yeah.
But it's that phrase: "Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar, and to God the things that are God."
And when you look at your tax return, I feel like I'm rendering more to Caesar than that is his.
It seems like it is increasing.
Yeah,
right?
It's like, wow.
So
the Lord doesn't even take as much, right? He only wants 10%. Caesar, I think, is taking like 25% now.
Well, so it depends on the state. Obviously.
Oh, mercy.
So I was doing some research in preparation for this, and I was like, how many taxes do we actually pay? And just so you know, there are at least 97 different taxes that we pay. Now, taxes, whenever we say taxes, I mean, generally we think of April 15th, a lot of different stuff.
Income tax.
But really, a tax.
Sales tax.
It's going to be sales tax, and anytime you go and purchase something, it could be a toll.
Right.
If you're driving.
Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up because there's not many toll roads here in Tennessee.
Not here in
Tennessee.
I've
been on a toll road in Tennessee that I can
so.
think of. But in Florida, we're like the happy toll road.
That's right.
We toll the road to toll the road to toll the road. Right. And if you're on the toll road, then you can get in an express lane toll road too.
That's
so we
true.
can like triple toll you.
Yep.
But anyhow, back in the day, they used to have the little attendant where you'd pay them, $1 or 25, whatever it was. And so, and they're just paid whatever an hour just to collect money. So they don't really know what's happening. Not belittling them, but they're not. They're just there to collect your money. Sure. So I'd always ask them, especially on the Florida Turnpike.
Oh, yes.
It cost like $13 to go from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando, right? Just to get to Disney World. You had to like put that in your budget. It's $13 just to ride on the Turnpike to get there. One way. So it's $26 round trip just to have the blessing of driving on the Turnpike. But I would always ask them when I got there to pay my toll, have they paid for the road yet? Because I think my mom told me that the Turnpike was built and they started collecting the toll just to pay for it. And when it was paid, the toll would disappear.
Oh, see.
So I always wanted, did they pay for this yet?
Well, here's the thing. And I think this is going to be true of just about any tax. Once a tax is initiated,
is never going away.
It will never go away. It might change names.
Right.
And it might go to something else.
But it's
never going away.
It's still there.
It's never going to go away.
Here in Tennessee, real fast too, is coming from Florida. Our sales tax is a bit high.
Was it 9.5%?
It's 9. I always just say 10. It's like when I'm making that big purchase.
What is that 0.5 really?
Yeah, like here's my shaving of a penny. But it's like 10. I would just do it rounded to 10%.
Yeah.
Like if I'm getting an estimate or thinking of something to do myself, and I'm like, man, 10% of $10 is a lot.
True. Now, granted, I mean, there are some states where their taxes are stupid.
Now, Virginia, next to us here, I don't know exactly what their sales tax is, but it's less.
It is less.
And I've had conversations with people when they're making larger purchases, they'll go to Virginia and buy it.
Yeah. Now, granted, their property taxes are higher than ours.
I can't believe it.
That's also true. So that's the thing. So every state is a little bit different. And obviously,
Yes.
you've got your federal taxes, you've got your state taxes, you may have county taxes, you've got every kind of tax that you can possibly think of.
You said city tax?
Yeah. I mean,
even your registration on your car, technically, that's a tax.
Yeah.
Any
kind of services and fees.
And we're
those are all
lucky enough
taxes.
because you live in Sullivan County and I live in Hawkins County. So when we do our tags, we pay our regular registration, which is like a tax.
Yep.
But then also we have an additional wheel tax on top of that,
Yes.
which is such a blessing. I don't know what it is because the wheel, I pay for my own tire.
Yep.
So, and then the roads are horrible. So where's the wheel tax going?
Yeah. And what's great is like there's some states where you have a tire tax.
Yeah.
It's okay. Now I have to pay taxes on the tire that I'm purchasing, but then I also have to pay another tax to get rid of the tire, that I just got rid of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like triple paying
like
for
a
my
dollar
tires.
disposal fee. Well, I'll take it with me. Okay. I'll dispose of it myself.
Exactly. But you're gonna have to pay for it depending on what you
And
do.
one other thing I've always thought is that, all right, you work, you pay taxes on that money.
Sure.
Now you go out to eat or you go to buy something, you pay taxes when you purchase that.
Yep.
The person or the business that you just purchased from now pays taxes on the money you just paid them, and so on. Does it end?
It's a continual. Well,
It
again,
doesn't
I
end.
mean,
It's just a merry-go-round that I can't get off.
that's it. Yeah.
Anyway, all right, I'm done. Feel better now.
So again, there's depending on the state that you live
Yeah.
in, you've got roughly 97 different taxes that we pay. Depending on where you live and all that kind of stuff. And so I thought, well, what are some of the quirkiest taxes?
Is quirkiest? Is that just a nice word of saying stupid?
Yeah, or
Okay.
dumb. Either way.
Dumb taxes.
Because there are some states that have some interesting
Yes.
taxes and how they kind of break some of this stuff up.
Okay.
So I'm just going to highlight a couple of
Sure.
okay. I'm not doing one for every state, just so you know, or else
No,
we'd be here forever.
I don't even see the good state of Tennessee here.
No, I don't have one
That
for Tennessee.
upsets me.
Well,
Okay.
so we've got a couple.
Yeah.
I went through all 50 states.
Oh, you did.
I did.
You tried to pick the.
I just found
the-
something. I'm like, these are pretty interesting.
dumbest
Especially with some taxes that either you don't really realize that are being done,
Right.
or the nuances of, okay, this is tax, but this isn't. How does that work? Or taxes that, like we talked about just a minute ago, were instated and then just never went away conveniently, right? So one of those would be the state of Alabama. Okay.
Those folk. Well, anyhow, go ahead.
In the state of Alabama, residents still pay a Confederate veterans tax, despite the fact that all Civil War veterans are long dead and the Civil War has been over for quite some time. But today, that tax supports the Confederate Memorial Park. So if you're living in Alabama, even though the Civil War has ended, there are no more Confederates, at least true Confederates. You've got the people who think they are. But
Could be
yes, there's a
descendants of the-
Confederate veterans tax that you still have to pay.
I'm just working through it in my mind, so I don't want to say something that would upset somebody and they'd cancel us or something. But
That's fair. That's fair.
as far as I mean, I'm glad they have a Confederate memorial park. I think that's awesome.
Great.
I think that's great. But can we just pay to maintain the place out of the regular park budget? Like park and recreation budget,
Which is also going to be a tax that you
which
have
is
to pay.
also a tax. So yeah, you don't want. Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, here's another one.
Yep.
Arkansas, the state of Arkansas. Arkansas imposes a 6.5% tax on some highly specific services, including tattoos, laser hair removal, and body piercings.
Oh,
So if you want to do any of those,
you mean to get my lip?
you have to
taxed?
pay extra.
I'm going to get my lip and my nose pierced. They're going to tax me more.
6.5%. You are
my
welcome.
body.
Well, you're paying for it.
Well, too bad.
Yeah, thank you.
That is crazy.
Now,
All right.
on a good note, New Mexico, okay,
Yes.
they've got a really nice little deal that once you turn 100 years old in New Mexico, you no longer have to pay state taxes. So
Okay, so
there you
there's
go.
like 2 people in New Mexico that have made that.
But there is a little
whoop-de-doo.
caveat.
Yes.
Okay, you have to have lived in New Mexico for at least 6 months, and you are not listed as a dependent on someone else's tax return.
Well, if I'm 100, let me think through this for a minute.
Well, if I'm 100,
I'm-
am I
I'm-
even thinking about paying my taxes and filing those things?
No.
No.
But if I'm 100, I'm probably not my mom's dependent anymore. I'm just like on her tax return, right? At
You would
100 years old. And 2, people aren't living to 100 so much anymore, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that are 100 years old, so they're pretty safe with this deal.
Yeah. I think
so they lose. There's like 2 people right now that are 100.5 in New Mexico,
and they're living it up.
Yeah, so they're missing out on 2 people's income tax, whatever.
There you go.
Okay,
here's a fun one for the state of Kansas.
Yes.
In case. Do you want to ride in a hot air balloon in Kansas?
I don't think I want to ride in a hot air balloon
ever.
It scares me.
Or period?
No, period.
So like here at Fun Fest,
yes.
like we get hot air balloons and that kind of stuff. I love them actually. They're a lot
my
of
wife
fun.
made me go down there and look at them. I saw them once. I don't need to do it again.
You don't want to get in them
with the 4 million other people.
Okay,
and they're down there going. It's like, let me get in this. Let's see, like this
death machine,
inferno. This sack-filled inferno thingamabob with a wicker basket hanging below it. This sounds great.
With a wicker basket.
Oh yeah.
With a propane.
With a large propane tank. A wicker basket, propane tank, a 40-foot flame in a like a
large.
What material is that thing made out of?
Some kind of fabric.
Yeah, some sort of a fabric balloon.
Which if all of a sudden we get a gust of wind,
you're gone.
I'm done for.
Oh, and by the way, so if you dare to do this in Kansas, we're going to tax you anyhow.
That's exactly right.
I feel like there's taxed enough just to ride on the thing.
So in Kansas, if you want to ride in a hot air balloon, the price you pay depends on whether the balloon is tethered to the ground. Okay, so if the hot air balloon is tethered to the ground, Kansas considers it to be an amusement activities, and you'll be paying the state 6.5% sales tax rate. However, if the balloon is flying untethered, the state considers it transportation, making the activity tax free.
Who comes up with this stuff? So if I forget it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a long rope on the back of my truck and tell them it's tethered. Okay.
Here's good. Here's a good one for New York.
Yeah, this ought to be good.
New York and California are always fun ones. New York. Mm-hmm. So they're very oddly specific food taxes in New York. All right. So the state is famous for its bagels. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good New York bagels.
Amen to that. I like me a bagel.
But New York charges you an extra 8 cents if you purchase your bagel sliced because it falls under the processed foods category. Uncut bagels are sold tax-free. So it's processed if I take a knife and I cut it and then I sell it. Now I have to pay, you get charged an extra 8 cents.
I'm going to keep, I'm going to keep my
again,
thoughts
like
to
who's
myself.
coming up with
I was just going to say that. I want to meet the brilliant person that leaned back in their office chair when they said, I think we'll tax them if we slice their bagel.
So in Colorado,
try that again.
Buying a cup of coffee in Colorado comes with an extra 2.9% tax. Okay. This tax isn't for the coffee, but it's for the lid of your coffee cup. Okay.
So can I opt out?
What if I don't want a lid, do I have to have it? So here's what's interesting. So you pay this extra tax, okay, because it's considered non-essential. Okay. You'll also pay it on straws, napkins, and cup sleeves. So you don't have to pay an extra tax on your coffee or on the coffee cup because that's essential. But on your lid, your straw, your cup sleeve that you burn yourself, you have to pay an extra tax.
When I went to McDonald's this morning and I got my Dr. Pepper,
yeah.
in this cup with the lid, they gave the lid comes with it and the straw. So like, I don't get it.
But if I'm going through the drive-through, can I request no lid?
No lid. Or, hey, I'm using my straw from yesterday that you taxed me on. I'm going to recycle.
The problem with that is that you've already paid before you get to pick it up.
And they're going to say, too bad.
Yeah.
No refunds.
So let's go further west, to California.
All the way west.
All the way west.
Go west, young man.
The great state of California, okay?
This ought to be good.
If you intend to purchase fruit in California, I would advise you buying it from a grocery store. Here's why. Okay. Because the fresh fruit is not taxed when sold in stores in California. However, if you decide to grab some fruit from a vending machine, you'll find yourself paying a hefty 33% sales tax to get fresh fruit from a vending machine.
For one, how fresh is the fruit in a vending machine?
I've never seen a vending machine with fruit.
One.
Two, I've seen them with fruit snacks.
Okay, right. I've never seen it with fruit. One. Two, how fresh is the fruit in a vending machine? Like, you know those vending machines that you can buy like a little sandwich in those little plasticky weird things? Never in my life.
I don't know.
No, but I'm just saying.
Maybe every morning.
The freshness
Maybe every
me.
morning they're changing them out.
Okay, so then I'm not going to buy your stupid California orange in the vending machine because you're going to charge me 33%
That's
of what it just cost.
that
me.
is a ridiculous
That's a
percent
lot.
sales tax.
That's-
33%.
For what? I want to know the reason. Because there must be a vending tax.
Who knows?
Ridiculous.
But yeah, but if I get fresh fruit from a grocery store, I don't have to pay it. But if I buy it from a vending machine, who maybe they went and purchased it from a grocery store and then went and put it in the vending machine, now I have to pay 33%.
Goodness gracious.
33%. Right. That's ludicrous. That's worse than a credit card.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
Sheesh. All right, here's my favorite one. In Nevada.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is an incentive to actually do your taxes and to turn them in. Okay. So in Nevada, okay, an incentive to file your taxes is that they offer a free deck of cards as a thank you for every filed tax return. I told this to Bryce yesterday. He's like, we need to file our taxes in Nevada. We can get a free deck of cards.
A free deck of cards? What? That doesn't, I'm not sure.
Well, they're just kind of building up the whole gambling life.
I see.
I'm guessing they're taxing on everything that you make.
Well, let's get this straight. You file your taxes. They give you a free deck of cards.
Yep.
Now you're learning how to play cards.
Yep.
And now you're
going to go
I'm
to the
getting
casino.
good at this. Now I'm going to the casino. You win it big. You pay the taxes on which.
It's cyclical.
California should be giving you a free orange, so then you could get hooked on the oranges, and then you'll be buying them out of the vending machine.
You can't have enough.
Gosh.
See, there you go. Come on.
In honor of tax day.
I kind of like it though. I'll get a free deck of cards. Why not? I'll file my taxes. I got to do it anyways. You need a swig of your Dr. Pepper, which has a lid on, so
which has a lid and a straw, and they probably gave me a napkin. Great.
So when we think of taxes, like it's funny because there are nuances with every state, right? But the fact is, nobody gets to escape taxes unless you're 100 years old living in New Mexico.
This year, through both our retreats and camps, enter a world of dragons, knights, wizards, and so much more as we dive into the reality of spiritual warfare. In the spring, our theme will be Friend and Fiend. Every battle has an enemy to be defended against, fought, and to be defeated. Join us this spring as we expose and examine our enemy and his tactics and learn to rely on our friend and commander Jesus. Then, in our epic summer camp, our theme is Battle Royale, and the battle is on. Embark on a fantastical journey next year as we armor up to fight against the cave trolls, orcs, goblins, and dragons of sin and temptation that wage war against us. Join us this summer as we examine and put on the armor of God and join the battle for the ages. Finally, in the fall, our theme will be Victorious. The objective in every battle is to win, but it doesn't always feel like we are winning. As we persevere in this epic spiritual battle, we need to be reminded that we already know how it ends. Join us this fall as we encourage one another with the truth that the Lord wants us to experience a victorious life, not only in this life, but for those in Christ, we will ultimately win in the next life. Visit our website at bancroftgospelministry.org today and register for our spring and fall retreats and our summer camp. It's going to be a fantastically epic year.
Here in America, the first income tax was in 1861, okay, which was brought about by President Abraham Lincoln to help fund the Civil War.
Well, is the Civil War over?
It's over, but in Alabama,
we're still collecting the taxes.
In Alabama, you are, yes, Confederate Veterans Tax. There you go. But that's where it all started. And in fact, that's also when the IRS was established.
Oh.
It went through a couple different name changes, but it was established in 1862 by President Lincoln in order to levy the first income tax in order to fund the Civil War.
Well, have we paid for what the Civil War cost us? That's my question.
But how many other wars have we been in?
Well, still.
I mean, we're in one right now.
Right, but I'm just saying, like...
And not only are our gas prices going up, but as our gas prices go up, guess how much more we get to pay?
More
in our taxes.
Right.
It may be the same rate, but because the price of the gas
Yes,
is higher,
it's all a
we
gimmick.
get to pay more.
Yeah.
Money,
and then
money.
gas prices go up. Diesel prices, which most everything that you buy at a store comes by a diesel truck, a semi-truck. Diesel is 5 some odd a gallon. So what does that do to everything in your store?
Yep.
That goes up.
And here's the great thing about a lot of these taxes too is
Can't
that
do it.
even if you don't pay them directly, okay, you are indirectly paying them because the
paying
majority
some
of
way.
these businesses and companies are passing that cost off to their consumer.
Right. Just pass along tax.
Exactly. So you're still paying them.
Yeah. Just
Now there's some quirky taxes too that I think are just dumb, but that we pay. So one is like a capital gains tax.
right.
Okay. That one basically is just you're being taxed for making good investments. Because you are
You're smart and you're succeeding in life and you're
Yep.
making money and you're doing well for yourself.
Right.
Let's tax you.
let's tax you more. I'm gonna
Right.
at the end of every year, capital gains tax.
I'm all for it.
On whatever profit you made
Yeah.
from your wise investments.
I'm all for it. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, just get you.
A little side note, little plug. You can actually get around some of your capital gains
Yeah.
taxes by donating to Bancroft Bible Camp through Stock Donator.
Hey,
But that's a whole other thing. Anyways,
call us. We'll guide you through it.
exactly.
So we're kind of like H&R Block here.
There you go. We're
know?
just trying to help people out.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Bancroft Block. Yeah.
Another one that I think is interesting is luxury tax. Okay. So that's basically you get taxed on buying nice things. So if I decide to buy something maybe a little bit more exotic,
You mean like my Carhartt shirts?
well, I
They
mean, you're
tax
being
me?
taxed on that as
Is
well.
that luxury
That would
versus that
This is-
no-name
I think
brand?
this is a Gildan. Thank you very much.
That's nothing.
Bought it.
That's not
online.
luxury brand, okay? Bought it at Kmart or something. This is like luxury.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
you want something nice, maybe a Rolex watch or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, you're gonna pay for it.
Maybe a little bit fancier car.
I wonder where's the
Yeah,
the line?
Like
that
who
takes me
determines
from,
like this is
okay,
luxurious?
you're here and now that's luxurious.
I'm going to venture to guess if I'm buying it on Amazon, it's not considered luxurious. Just saying. Or Temu. Maybe not.
I've never
Temu.
bought anything from there. Speaking of luxurious, I saw this thing the other day that it was like a regular Ford F-250 truck, brand new, 2026. It was just a little documentary on it. 4-door long bed,
Yep.
Lariat. So it's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
nicer,
Fancier.
not like King
fancier.
Ranch, but okay, nicer.
Right.
Tax tag title and all the preps and all the rebates, which the rebates never, they're whatever. Yeah, right. There's a rebate from the factory, but then the dealer gets you for more than a rebate. Anyhow, it did all this. $107,000 out the door.
That's not terrible.
So is that luxury?
I
To
would
me,
say-
that's
to me,
luxurious.
that is.
Yeah.
$25,000 is a lot.
$10 is luxurious. But anyhow, to a starving
So,
missionary.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And I think my all-time favorite would probably have to be the death tax.
You tax me because I died.
There you go. So I'm dead, and now
Unless you
you're gonna
live in
tax
what? The great
all of my
state
stuff.
of, which one was it? No, which one am I going to have to live to? New Mexico.
There you go.
Maybe you don't tax me on the way out.
Well, you will, unless you're 100. If you
Well,
die at 100 or later,
Keep me.
you don't have to worry about it.
So keep me on life support until I get to be 100. Then pull the plug.
I don't have to pay
I won't
tax.
be paid tax. I won't. They
Yeah.
won't tax me for dying.
So the death tax is great. You get taxed. Basically, the death tax really, and there's a couple different names for it. You've got estate tax.
Yeah.
Or in some states they refer to it as an inheritance tax.
Right.
But sometimes those are split up. But yeah, it's I'm dead, and so now the people who actually like receive everything that I just wrote in my will,
We're taxing.
We're going to tax all those
Yeah.
people.
So we were watching this. I don't want to get off the.
Benefiting on dying people.
We should have a birth tax. Why don't we tax you right out the gate?
They probably do.
Oh, that was
We get all of our
Yeah,
our
just
bills from the hospital.
tax you.
We're getting taxed.
I
on
mean,
that.
as soon as little Bryce was born, bam, taxed
Yeah.
Bryce. Yeah.
You get taxed for naming your cow.
Yeah.
Your
So we were watching this game show the other day, and there were stands to win, $1 million. Then it
Yeah.
was like $5 million, and so of course, my wife, oh, whoa, $5 million, you won $5 million. I said, always think of this. Every time I see a lottery winning or something, I always it's not exactly half, but I always say, by the time they take the taxes, so if you won $5 million, by the time they get done with taxes, just say 2.5 million is what you bring home. It's a little more. But I was just round it down,
Yeah.
so that way if I get like 2.8, I'll be really surprised.
Well, it reminds me of like Price is Right. Remember that game show?
Right.
Like I used to hear stories of like people who like won.
They
or
can't
whatever,
afford the
like,
taxes on it.
They can't afford the taxes on it.
Yeah, like they won the new car, but back then it was like a Pontiac Bonneville, like whatever. Like these cars look strange now, but yeah, like they won this $12,000 all vinyl interior, Pontiac, Bonneville, yeah.
And now you got to pay the taxes
And
on
now,
it. They're like, well, I
now
might as well
Carol
just sell
that
it.
won it has to pay the taxes. Well, she didn't really win it.
Exactly.
Right. Anyhow,
It's almost like, you can't
paying Caesar what's owed to Caesar.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is. And so with
Can't go around
that,
it.
so what does the Bible actually say about taxes? And what does Jesus specifically say about these taxes, right? So like we said, like in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, we've got 3 different perspectives, or I guess writings of this same account, right? So I'm going to read the one from Matthew chapter 22, and then you can find the references in Mark 12 and Luke 20.
I can, you're saying?
Or anybody can if they want to.
I have them here.
I know you do, because you're so studious that way.
Well, yeah.
But it's the same situation, same account, right? It's just a different author in their gospel kind of makes reference to it. And the purpose behind like where all this comes from, just contextually, is basically the Pharisees are wanting to try and entangle Jesus, right? To try and get him to say something that then they can accuse him of,
Right.
To get him into trouble, right? And so they go to him and they ask the question. And I love in Matthew 22 because they kind of like butter him up first, you know. I think it's verse 16. Basically, the Pharisees and they have some disciples and Herodians, all these different people. They come up and to Jesus they say, "Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God truthfully, and you don't care about anyone's opinion, for you are not swayed by appearances." It's almost like if I'm Jesus and they start off with that, if that's what they're leading with, I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Hey, just cut
buttering
out all that sweet tea and just tell me.
Exactly. Just get to the point.
Exactly.
Right? So then they're like, so tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? You know, so they butter him up and then they just drop, hey, should we be paying taxes to Caesar or should we not? But then in verse 18, Jesus says, being aware of their malice, he says, why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax. So basically it's like, you got a coin in your pocket?
Yeah.
All right, let me see it real fast.
I love this.
I know. Because he just puts them in their place so easy. So he takes the coin, he holds it up, they bring him into Darius, and Jesus said to them, whose likeness and inscription is this?
Right. Whose face is on it?
Yeah, whose face is on this? And they're like, oh, Caesar's. Jesus is like, okay. So therefore, render to Caesar, or give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's.
Right.
His name, his face is on it. This is his. Give this to him. But then give to God the things that are God's. And it says, when they heard it, they marveled, and they left him and went away. Like they didn't know how to respond to this.
I'm sure that didn't go the way they thought it was going to go.
No,
right?
I don't think so. I'm guessing
that.
they probably had to go and still pay their taxes, right? But I love it because I think in the grand scheme of it, Jesus is basically just taking it and just saying, hey, his response really is, you need to do both.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. Pay Caesar what he's due, you know, but also you ought to be subject to God and to Caesar, you know? And so like one duty isn't inseparable from the other, you know? And I think we'll probably talk about this, you know, maybe a little bit later, but the idea is like for us as Christians, if we're following Christ as we ought to, then paying our taxes really shouldn't be an issue.
We should be overjoyed and do it with a joyful heart. Pay your taxes. I mean, well, according to Scripture, we should just, we should be thrilled.
I mean, I don't think I'm like skipping down to my local, you know.
Yeah, I don't skip down to my accountant
and be like, yay, it's tax day. I'm so excited. Take my money. Take my money.
Mr. Carl, please tell me how much I can pay these folks.
I'm just so excited to give the government all of my
with the
earnings.
picture of Caesar, or maybe it'd be the picture of Donald Trump now.
But we don't have a coin like that.
We don't have kings and queens anymore either.
Fair.
But you know, like, hey, tell me how much I owe him.
Yeah,
I'm just, I can't wait. I can't wait to write.
Take all my money.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Like I don't think that's the idea, but I think the idea is that okay, like there's a duty that we have as citizens of, for us, the United States of America.
Right.
You know, there are taxes that are imposed to us or imposed on us that it's our duty to pay.
Right.
You know. But there's an aspect to where, okay, it's our duty to pay them, you know, but I can't necessarily control how all of my taxes are being spent. You know what I'm saying?
Can I control any of it?
No. Well, I mean, so I think there's a degree in which, you know, depending on how you vote and, you know,
well, yes,
keeping your civil authorities or whatever accountable. And you'd be like, hey, these taxes were supposed to go to this.
Right.
Why is this not done? What are you doing with my money? So I think there is an aspect to where we as citizens can keep our government authorities accountable.
Somewhat accountable.
Or at least attempt to.
Right. You can do your best. You give your best effort.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can't ultimately control how well they manage it, But that doesn't give me an excuse now not
to pay
my taxes.
Right.
The government is always looking for ways to tax our hard-earned money and investments. One of the ways they like to take our money is through capital gains taxes. This is where the government taxes our profits from smart investments that we make through the stock market, selling of real estate, and other valuable property. But what if I told you that there was a way to escape some of these taxes? Instead of giving some of the profits to the government, why not give it to a ministry that you love? That's right. You can avoid some capital gains taxes by donating stock that has increased in value to a nonprofit organization. Many donors have found that this is an easy way to increase their donation while helping themselves at tax time. Stock Donator is a great organization that makes your stock donations to nonprofits as easy as pie. Simply go to stockdonator.com and follow the online prompts to donate your stock to Bancroft today and help support the ministry that you love. Visit Stock Donator today and make a lasting contribution to the ministry.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of what Jesus is talking about. He's like, hey, like the government, like they're due this. Like this is their right to be able to impose these things for these specific reasons. But it's not exclusive. Don't choose to pay taxes to Caesar and then not pay God what he is also equally you do. Which we're going to talk about maybe what that looks like in a little bit
with
too.
Matthew 22:21, it's our citizenship on earth requires us to pay money to the services and the benefits that we receive.
Yep.
Right. So, some of our taxes pay for when we have an issue and we call the police.
Right.
Some of our taxes pay for when we have a problem and medics show up or the fire department shows up.
Right.
Some of those taxes pay for those kind of services.
Right.
So if everybody decided, hey, I'm going to stop paying taxes, well, we may not have those services that we sure enjoy when we really need them.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
As far as like road repair and all that, I'm going to argue where those taxes go because it seems like
why are the roads still terrible?
They're terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as citizens here on earth, we're required to pay those taxes because we certainly do reap from those.
I agree.
Taxes paid. Sometimes I wonder, but yeah.
And I think underlying some of this, what Jesus is talking about is basically he's laying out two kings. You've got your king or emperor or whatever in Caesar,
yes,
right? But then you've also got God,
right?
So there are two kings really that Jesus is showing. Hey, we can talk about Caesar all day, but there's actually a king higher than him. And so you've got a king that is there, he's been established, but then you also have the King of Kings.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have a king that has been established through, let's just take for us, right, in America, like our king, our president is elected.
That's sensitive.
It's very sensitive. Okay. Our president.
Please.
Okay. Our president is elected.
Right.
Like we choose who our president is by casting our vote. Right. You can get into
whether it's a swinging chat or
whatever. Yeah. But the idea behind it is I can vote for who is going to be in
who I want.
Yeah. Who's going to be an authority over me. Right. But here's the thing. And even though I can vote somebody in like that, at the end of the day, it's really not up to me, because the Bible teaches me that I'm ultimately not the one who establishes kings. It's God.
Right.
So you've got now Caesar, a king who has been established, right? And then you've got God the Father, who is the one who is establishing kings,
yes,
and establishing authorities. And we see this in Daniel chapter 2. All right. Daniel chapter 2, verse 21 says, he, being God, changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. What is he saying? He's like, hey, ultimately, God is the one who puts your leaders over you. And so because of that, it makes even more sense now, the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 13, he says, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. And those that exist, okay, so the authorities that exist have been instituted by God. God is the one who sets up the kings. He's the one who sets up our authorities, right? And the ones that we have to look to and the ones who rule over us,
right?
Yeah, there's an aspect to where we can vote and we can elect. There are some nations and some, whatever's throughout history who don't have that ability, whether it's dictatorships or whatever, or, in those times, Caesars, But at the end of the day, God is the one who controls that.
He's in charge of all.
Exactly. And so I think that's one of the things that God was kind of doing to everybody who was listening is he was showing that there's really two kings. You've got Caesar and you have God.
Right.
And one isn't necessarily separate from the other.
Quote unquote, pay what's due to both of them.
Exactly.
Right. And so as I said, our citizenship here on earth, one of it is paying our money for our services and benefits that we do receive. And then our citizenship in heaven requires that we pledge to God our ultimate obedience and our commitment.
Yep.
So that's kind of like, hey, we're gonna give our life to Christ. We're gonna give everything we do to Him, and obey His commands,
right,
in the Bible,
right,
and live by that, and live by His word, and that's in a sense somewhat paying. To me, that's somewhat like paying our tax to Him, because we're gonna follow His rule, right, and His government, and His government, as we also have to do that here on earth.
Exactly. And again, I don't think, and I think this is where Jesus is kind of talking about this too. Like we are responsible to serve both.
Right.
Like as citizens of a country or of a city or, whatever, like it is our duty to serve both in various capacities. Right. And I think it kind of begs the question though too, like what about when your authorities are dictating something that goes against, conscience maybe, then really the way that it's supposed to be laid out then is that I don't want to say our allegiance, but like our responsibility to submit to our authorities, our governing authorities, we should always be looking to be obedient to them.
Sure.
Until they begin to encroach on our rights of conscience or preventing us from worshiping or serving the Lord, or they're dictating something that goes against our biblical principles. Then
we may stand up.
Then we ought to stand
we ought
up.
To stand up.
Because now it's encroaching on those things, And now what they're trying to do is kind of supersede the authority of God in our own lives. By establishing their own, and I think that's where we have to be really, really careful with a lot of that. You know what I mean? But again, kind of going back to it, like God is telling us, hey, like respect your authorities because I've placed them over you.
Right.
And honestly, He's placed them over us for a purpose, because we do need law. We do need order.
Yeah.
We do need,
speed limit
centralized, at least to some varying degree, authority. We do need cops. We do need fire departments. We do need EMS.
Do we need those sitting down here in the median though all the time? Like when you're coming down 93, you're coming down a hill, for crying out loud. You're naturally going to just go faster. You roll a ball, it goes faster downhill. And they're sitting down at the bottom. We really need them?
Well, you
Sorry, I got a little worked up.
You got a break. You got a break there.
Okay.
No?
I feel better now.
But yeah, so
I'm going to ask when I get to heaven, like, why do they have to sit at the bottom of the hill? But I know you put them there, Lord. I got it. But you're right. We do need all of that.
Yep.
Which I think is going back to the render to Caesar what is Caesar. I think through and the Lord says, hey, His face is on the coin, then give it to Him.
Yeah.
What's so great is the Lord, Jesus could have said, hey, give it all to me. Caesar's and my portion too.
Yeah.
Right? But no, He's fair. So He's like, hey, if that's His, give it to Him.
Yep.
And then give me my portion.
Yeah. And here's the thing though too,
I love that part.
like I think for Jesus and God in general, like it's all his anyways.
Right.
Like he owns it.
Yeah,
all.
he owns it all. So
You know what I mean?
here, you need Caesar. You need a few of these little coins with your picture on. Go
Yeah.
take 'em.
Like everything belongs to
It's
him.
really mine anyhow, but you can have it. If it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I love that.
And we see that throughout Scripture
Yep.
too. Like everything belongs to him.
Yes.
Everything in heaven and on earth, like all of those things are God.
all
Even
his.
Caesar himself, every king, even Donald Trump. You know,
Careful.
oh no, he is. Even Vladimir Putin, or whoever else you want to put.
Or
in
all
there.
those others.
You
Can't
know?
even pronounce some of those names.
You know, like all
Yeah.
of those,
They're his.
they're his.
He created them.
He created them.
Good or bad?
He orchestrates all those different things.
Yeah.
He sets them up and he tears them down.
You
know?
a few of them are getting torn down lately.
Yeah, I would say so.
We don't want to go there. That's
You
a
know?
whole nother.
But that's the thing. So like
Yeah.
all men,
Yep.
you know, all nations, all governments, you know, all taxes, like all those different things. Like he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Like everything is his.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I think that's where again I think for us when we remove the this is mine,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't want to pay it to this person. I don't want to pay it to this
Right.
person. God's like, actually, it's mine. So when we can kind of like relinquish that,
Yeah.
that sense
Makes
of
life a
ownership,
little easier, doesn't it?
yeah, we're just like, okay, fine.
Mhm.
You know, I'll pay the taxes. You know, and if there are some of them that are erroneous, you know,
Yeah.
well then I have the ability to vote
Yes.
against certain things. You know,
Yes.
or maybe there's some people who just need to get more involved in politics.
Mhm.
You know, run for city, county commissioner.
I think you would do great.
Oh,
You ought to be-
goodness,
yeah,
no,
I think
no.
so because you
I'd
have
get
such
kicked out
a
of there
way
so
with
fast.
words. Too, as I'm paying my taxes and I don't disagree, and maybe I don't agree with this as much or this as much. Well, yes, we could vote and possibly change those things, but well, those folks have to answer for what they've done with our taxes too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, as we're like,
That's a good
well,
point.
I'm not sure. I'm paying that wheel tax. It doesn't seem like you're doing much with the roads. I don't know if you're lining your mama's pockets with them
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, but they'll have to answer for that too.
Exactly.
You know, my duty is to give. It's just like giving to our church,
Mm-hmm.
you know, through our tithe, which we could call that a tax, right? In a sense, you know, hey, it's given to the Lord what's his.
Right.
And so, if our church, or not our personal church, but if the church doesn't do what they're supposed to do with our tithes and our offerings, well, they have to answer for that. The leadership at the church will have to answer for what
Right.
they've done with that money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You know, that it is our responsibility as Christians
Just
to
to
be
give it.
obedient,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
To do our duty, to do the things that God has commanded us to do, right?
Yes.
Because we're going to be judged for whether or not
We did that or
we
not.
did that, whether or
Right.
not we were obedient, whether or not we submitted to
Sure.
authority.
We
you
gave
know,
it, we
as
paid
were
it, we
supposed to.
whatever. Right.
Exactly.
We'll have to answer for that.
Yep.
Sorry.
And
I
then-
wanna jump
no,
in
no,
there.
no,
As
you're
they're going to answer for what they did with what we paid.
Exactly.
Woo!
And honestly,
I'd hate
there-
to be some of those government officials.
And honestly, there could be an argument that those who are in certain type of leadership
Mm-hmm.
positions, you know, they're held to a higher standard.
Yes.
I mean, we see this in 1 Timothy when in regards to people who, you know, those who teach the word of God, right?
Yes.
Versus those who just like work in the church.
See, I'd
Right?
rather just mop the floor. See, it's way better. No, you're
You know,
right.
like, they're held to a higher standard.
standard. So the ones that are dealing with the money and deciding where the money goes and what it does needs to be held to a higher authority.
So those who God establishes and
Yes.
puts in places of authority, and so let's even like we can think macro, you know, like okay, presidents,
Mm-hmm.
kings, whatever, you know, government officials, you know, all that kind of stuff. They're going to be held to a higher standard
Mm-hmm.
for sure, right? Because God has established them, you know. But we could even take it, I think, more micro and more personal.
Micromanaging.
Yeah, there you go. But like God has
said it.
put you in charge of things as well.
Yes. Right.
You know, whether it's your family,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's your spouse, your kids, maybe the job that you're
Maybe the
working
job,
in, whatever
right.
position you have. If you're in a managerial role,
Mm-hmm.
like let's not. I think sometimes it's really easy for us to be like, oh, God establishes kings, and we think of presidents.
Yeah.
You know, but
No,
at
he
the same time,
establishes the whole.
yeah, like again, he's in charge of all of
Yeah,
it.
right.
You know, so even the managerial position that you hold, or you know, maybe you own your own business or whatever it is, like he's put you there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. And so now you have
And
a
he
responsibility,
requires you
and you're going to have a higher standard.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I think it's really easy for us to separate higher authorities,
Mm-hmm.
governmental authorities, and remove ourselves from the equation and say, well, I'm not going to be
Yes.
held accountable for that. Actually, no, you will be.
Yeah.
You know? Now, the way that God is going to distribute his justice, you know, when those things come, that's up to him. but I'm going to trust that he's a good judge, you know,
a fair.
He's a righteous judge,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and he's going to do that properly. You know
Better
what I mean?
than we would.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Because, you know, speaking of
Which is
all
why
of
I
this,
can't run for any kind of government office. It's not going to go well.
I can't either. Speaking of all this government office, it's just ironic that we're talking about this because right now it's like there's a sign on every street corner for the mayor.
We've
and
got like
this
some kind of
and
like county stuff.
we got stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's everywhere right now, and you know this guy's the best, and this lady's the best, and this that's like never have I read a sign. I just want to let any of these folks know that either pay for them, put them out, print them, whatever. Never have I read one of those signs on the side of the road have ever swayed me, paid me, whatever, me to vote for you. Sorry. Your pictures are great. They look great. You know, they're all photoshopped. They're in a crinkle or a wrinkle in you. But no.
Looking for an easy and economical way to partner with Bancroft? For cheaper than a movie ticket, a Disney Plus Hulu subscription, and a meal at Chick-fil-A, you can make an eternal impact for just $10 a month. For only $10 a month, you become part of an alliance of financial supporters who are providing for the financial needs of the ministry. I know that $10 doesn't really seem like a lot of money, but it's a donation that everyone is able to participate in. Whether you're on a fixed budget, a child using birthday money, everyone is able to find $10 a month to donate. You probably can even find $10 in the cushions of your couch. It's as easy as replacing one fast food meal a month, or replacing 1 or 2 cups of coffee a month. For students, maybe just wash 1 car a month. Maybe for students, make this your birthday or Christmas present. No matter how big or how small, young or old, everyone can participate in $10 a month, and every little bit helps fund everything we do here at Bancroft throughout the year. Head on over to BancroftGospelMinistry.org, click on any of the donate buttons throughout the website, and sign up for our $10 a month club. Make sure to click to make it reoccurring so you never miss a month to partner with us. I think where we have to be careful, and I think Jesus kind of references this, you know, in the whole render to Caesar, the things that are Caesar's, and to God, the things that are God, is that we have a tendency to worship political parties, politicians, you know, whoever, as more practical, functional saviors. You know, like it's almost like we will give our allegiance more to the state, right, or to the nation, or to a political party, or whoever it is. Our allegiance becomes more to them,
right,
and those entities than it does to God,
the Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's where we have to be really, really, really careful.
You see that, not that you can. You do see that.
Yeah, like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, and especially, and I mean, we dealt with this. I think it was more prevalent. I think last like campaign cycle and all that different stuff. The whole Christian nationalism kind of push. You know, I don't think you hear about it as much right now, but it was really, really heavy. What, about a year ago?
Yeah.
Give or take. And it kind of, and you see it in the church as well, which is why I'm not a huge fan of churches who cater to that. You know, who bring in like politicians who are campaigning,
or they fly the flag out
recognize
front.
them. Like, I'm just like I don't mind churches having, you know, the American flag waving out.
Yeah, I don't mean the American
outside.
flag. I mean like the politicians.
the politicians' flag.
That's what I mean, like flying their flag, like putting their sign out front.
Yeah, like
I think we need to be
like,
cautious.
Get that stuff out of there.
Yeah,
you know,
that's not
the place for that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I'm not a huge fan of that, but again, like the whole Christian nationalism, and whether it's a church entity, whether it's Christendom as a religion, you know, or even us as Christians, even more so, I think we have to be really, really, really careful that we're not worshiping or, you know, pledging our allegiance to a person, a political figure, a political party, or a nation or something like that, more than we are pledging our allegiance to Christ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as Christians, we're citizens of heaven.
Sure.
You know?
Where there is no tax, by the way.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
But it's...
No matter your age.
No matter your age, that's right.
Yeah.
But like that's where my citizenship is.
Yeah.
That's where my allegiance should lie.
Right.
You know?
your allegiance and your citizenship is there eternally at the end.
Absolutely.
But while you're here on earth, you still have to, I'm just clearing this up, you still have to go about and render to Caesar what's Caesar while you're here.
Yeah. So, yeah, good. For clarification, like, as a Christian,
I just want to make sure. I was like, "Am I out? I don't. Can I take back? Cancel my check?
Exactly. I don't have
Cancel
a passport.
the check to the IRS.
Do I have a passport to heaven that I can use and be like, hey, I'm not a citizen? No, then you'd be an illegal.
Oh, that's a whole nother
That's
episode.
a whole other thing. But
Yes.
but no. So, as a Christian,
Yeah.
when you place your faith in the person of Jesus Christ, right, you become a citizen of heaven.
Right.
Now, God has placed you here on earth. You're right. And so, like, again, like, there's that distinction. And Jesus does the exact same thing, right? He shows the distinction between, okay, your earthly citizenship, you know, your earthly nationality, your ethnicity, you know, whatever, and your spiritual one.
Right.
You know? Okay, well, but if my allegiance is to God and if I am serving him faithfully, then what essentially that's going to have an effect on is how good of a citizen of my earthly place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I'm following Christ and I'm
sense.
serving him faithfully,
Then I should be.
then I'm going to be doing my duty.
Right.
I'm going to be respecting my authorities.
You should be in a way faithful to your earthly
Exactly.
duties.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's where, again, I think that's
a
where the
fine
warning
line there?
is.
There's
you
a
know?
fine line in there, and I don't think it's always recognized.
Yeah, and exactly, I don't think it's
I
always
think
recognized.
it's not
just
recognized
scan-
more than it is recognized.
Scan Facebook, you know, and watch all the political jargon that goes on there and the infighting that's there,
Oh, yeah.
even amongst Christians, professing Christians.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know?
train wrecks.
Oh,
in
it's
there.
a hot mess.
Yeah.
But this is where, again, I think God establishes, there's kind of brings out, again, the distinction between the two and says, hey, yeah, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar.
Right.
But don't forget to render to God the things that are God's, you know? And again, with the breakdown of you've got two kings, okay? Make sure your allegiance is to your heavenly Father,
Right.
you know, to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. That's where your allegiance lies. That's where your worship should go. Now, your respect, obviously, your obedience here on
Yes.
earth needs to go towards your earthly kings, you know, but your worship really needs to be
to
Him, you know. And I think that's where we have to be really, really careful because, again, I think we are so prone, especially in heated campaign seasons, right?
Yes.
We are so prone to look to politicians, to political parties, to our government as a whole, as an entity, as the savior.
Yeah, to lift them up.
You know, they're going to fix
they're
all
on
the
a pedestal.
problems. You know,
Yeah,
they're going to do. All
I've
those
never
different
met
things.
one yet that fixed all the problems.
No, many times I just feel like they just make it worse. Yeah. But it is.
Bless their hearts. Bless
I mean,
their hearts,
hey, it's the effort.
you know,
Eat
yeah.
for effort,
Yeah.
maybe. But again, the problem though, I think for us is that it isn't just a, hey, I'm going to vote for this person because I think they're going to do well in their policies and da-da-da-da. But it becomes so much more emotional. It becomes so much more spiritual in the fact that, again, our trust, our dependence, our hope rests in
that person.
them.
Yeah.
You know,
and you
it's
see,
kind of like even on our coins and on our money, it says, in God we trust.
yes.
You know, but then you hear people say, in Trump we trust, in Biden we trust, and
Well,
whoever
I'm
we
trusting
trust.
Trump. I'm trusting that he's going to do what he says he's going to do right by the people. Yes, but my trust isn't in him alone.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's the thing. I think where we have to really be careful. And I was reading a commentary, and I like kind of how they worded it. He said, while you render to Caesar the coin which is his due, which is accurate.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
While you render to Caesar the coin that is his due, you may render your own self to God. You know, so it's while I'm paying my taxes, while I'm submitting to my
authorities,
earthly authorities, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm going to render my own self, my heart, my soul, my spirit to God. You know,
Right.
my allegiance,
Yeah.
my worship to God. You know, and in so doing, it allows me to be able to submit to my earthly authorities with a right motive and a right heart. You know, because again, a lot of that I think just goes back to the perspective that we have. You know, like because I think it's really easy for us to look at the temporal and miss the eternal.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to look at the earthly and miss the heavenly. You know, And so it's like, no, like our eyes need to be fixed on Christ, right? Our citizenship is in heaven, right? Our hearts need to be longing for that country, you know, that we are citizens of. Like even Scripture tells us that we're aliens in this world, you know, not like little green men, but like
I was just thinking that.
That figures you were.
Like
That's why I brought it up, like a little UFO,
flying saucer, you think? Only
but no.
Only flying saucer I know is an ice cream, but yeah, go ahead.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's where our allegiance is. Like we're just
Mm-hmm.
passing through here. We're transient here,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so like while we're here, be subject to the authorities around you. Man, keep your eyes focused on your future home.
My own opinion here, and I believe it takes so much more work on our end to be giving our dues to the Lord than to our local government or here on earth, because here on earth it's in our face all the time, and I don't mean in a bad way in our face, but okay, you know, they're when I go down to wherever to buy something, they're taking the tax out.
Right.
They're you gotta file your income taxes. They're gonna come find you. Whatever, you know. So these things are there. They're in place. It's constantly, you know, like right now we're in this. You know, everybody's voting for whatever, the mayor or the sheriff or the whatever. You know, it's in our face. It's in our face. It's in our face.
Right.
It takes so much more work because this is not in my face as I'm driving down the highway.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like this is, you know, the word of God and what we need to do and what we need to give and render to Him is not in my face,
Right.
so to speak. So it takes more work because I have to put this in my face. But you know, so and so for sheriff there, so and so for sheriff. That's in my face right now because as soon as I pull out of Bancroft Bible Camp, like boom, there's going to be a sign somewhere.
Sure.
You know, so this stuff is always there. This isn't unless we put our face in there.
So maybe
So
what you
much.
should do,
Tell
JP,
me.
I have a plan for you for
I
the rest
got
of this
it.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just mount this on my dashboard.
Well, that's true. I think that
Like
would be
the
good.
kid that almost ran me off the road the other day because he was literally reading a book driving on the windy country. I'm not kidding. This kid had a book. I'm like, well, thanks for almost killing us all.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
can't do
Sorry.
it.
Just
No,
a little
no,
side note.
So I have a job for you,
Yeah.
which I think
Oh,
you're gonna,
great. Another
you're gonna do
job.
great. You're gonna do great.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What? Ice cream eating contest.
No, I think you need to go make a whole bunch of signs. Okay.
JT for mayor.
No.
We should do things like that. You know, those yard signs are cheap.
What happens though if you win?
They won't even know who he is.
Doesn't
You
matter.
just go around next to all the other ones, like Derrick for school board or whatever, and just go around and stick yours with your face.
We homeschool, so
I know, but they won't even know who you are. They're like, who's this cat?
and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
how come we still know this thing?
Remind me
No.
next time.
I think you need to go around.
Yes.
You need to put vote for Jesus, where all these other signs are. Just go around, vote for Jesus, or whatever it is. There you go.
That's classic. I like that better than your mug.
So let me just. This may not even be on topic, to be honest, with what we're talking about, but it's just a thought that
I
hit
like
me.
that idea.
So you've got the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords who comes down to earth, right? In the incarnation, okay? He is the king,
Yeah.
right? All the people are expecting him as the Messiah to come and save them, right? From Roman tyranny or whatever,
Yeah.
right? They wanted him to establish his kingdom here on earth, right? They wanted him to be the king and to rule, right? And Jesus is like, my kingdom is not of this world. Like he tells that to Pontius Pilate. You know, he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's not here.
this is not my kingdom. You know, is he the king over it? Yes.
Yes.
Like in a sense, he is still king over it all. You know, but I think what's so amazing is that, you know, Jesus comes as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, humbles himself, and he's like, yeah, I'm not here to destroy kings. I'm not here to, you know, to start a rebellion and a revolution, you know, at least politically, right? I mean, he started a revolution. But he's like, I'm not here as a political king. I'm here as your creator,
Well, here as
right?
your
Your
saving
spiritual
king.
king, as your saving king,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, I am here to save you, not from, you know, governmental oppression.
Not from Caesar.
And not from taxes,
Yeah, right.
right? I'm here to save you from
But
your sins.
be nice. Yes.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's
Yeah.
like if you think you're oppressed under Roman rule,
Mm-hmm.
do you not recognize the oppression that you're under because of your sin? You know?
Yeah.
Like the freedom that Jesus came to provide is so much greater than governmental tyranny and oppression, you know? and freedom from that. He came to free us from our sins, to give us eternal life, to make us no longer citizens of earth, but citizens of heaven, right? To change our allegiance from Caesar or to an earthly king to
heavenly,
to him, who is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords,
That's great.
And I'm like, man, I don't know, that just kind of hit me. I'm like, how interesting is that dynamic when we're talking about government and religion and how those things kind of come together, rendering to Caesar the things that are Caesar and to God the things that are God, the two kings, all those different things. And he's like, yeah, I'm over all of it, and I've come to save you not from this one.
Yeah.
I've come to save you from the one that actually is more significant.
In our notes there, and I know we haven't said this out loud, but we've bounced around it, is that separation of church and state.
Yeah.
I've always had a problem with that.
There's a lot of political stuff that we could talk about when it comes to separation of church and state and what that is supposed to look like, all those different things. But one of the commentators that I read referenced this, right? And I love what he said. He said, and we've kind of alluded to this already, but he said, there need be no conflict between religion and politics, okay? Church and state. There should be no conflict between church and state.
Right.
Let a citizen do his duty to God, and he will find his obligations to the civil power are coincident and harmonious, right?
That's
Again,
good.
it kind of goes back to what we talked about. If we are doing our duty to God, if we're serving him faithfully, right, then there really shouldn't be any issues.
Kind of falls into place.
It falls into place, And then he says, let the state respect the rights of God and conscience, and there will be no collision between itself and the church, but both will peaceably cooperate for the good of the community. So for us as Christians, if we're faithfully serving the Lord, then through our obedience with him and keeping his commandments, those commandments fall under civil authority and respecting and honoring and submitting to authority, right? And if the state then is respecting God, right, and is respecting the things of conscience, well, then there really shouldn't be any issues. Now we know that we live in a fallen world, and so there are issues. There are things that go against our consciences as Christians, which kind of goes back to, again, what about those things when the government's trying to impose something that violates that or encroaches upon my conscience, my beliefs? Okay. Well, then that's where we need to stand up.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean that we get to, torches and pitchforks.
Right.
We're not the French
protesting and tying ourselves to trees and
like
blocking the interstate.
We're not doing dumb stuff.
No.
But we go and we protest civilly,
for what's right.
For sure. We're going to stand for what's right. We're going to vote differently, right?
Sure.
We're going to do things that is actually going to bring about those changes, right? Rather than I'm just going to cause a ruckus and now I've got tear gas coming at me.
We're gonna react to those things the way that the Lord expects us and requires us to react to those things. We're not going to be hooligans. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
And
we're
not going to be hooligans and be out, tearing down the city. Because of whatever. No, we're gonna react the way we're required and expected to react.
I think that's important, and I think there's a difference between reacting and responding. Like reacting usually is knee jerk. It's usually emotionally driven. Those kind of things.
Right.
But if we respond, then that means we've thought through, we've analyzed, we have a plan, and we're going to approach this. And here's the thing: we can still protest. We can still respond appropriately to things that we are standing against. We can still do that respectfully.
Yes, I think so.
We can still do that in a way that still shows that we're submitting to authority, but at the same time, we're going to hold authority accountable.
Yeah.
And we can do that in a way that's still respectful. I don't have to go and beat down the doors of the courthouse. I don't have to do that.
Right.
There are means by which that I can still stand up for what is right. I can still push back, right? I can still
hold accountable those
who
need to be held
to be,
accountable.
Right. And I can still do that in a Christian, good and right way.
Yes.
That not only, isn't disrespectful, but also doesn't stain the name of Christ here on earth.
Right. There's a respectful way of doing that, obviously, right?
Yeah. And generally, I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, whatever post people make on Facebook, that's not changing anything.
What?
Just saying.
No.
Just saying. You're probably not going to change people's minds on Facebook.
Oh, man.
Throwing it out there, hot take.
Goodness gracious.
So then here's the question that I think, or something that we need to look at is, all right, if we need to render to Caesar the things that are Caesar and to God the things that are God's, then what is our role as citizens of heaven and also citizens of earth?
Citizens of earth, yeah.
Okay. The first thing I think would be, which is obvious, and again we've talked about this, so we're not gonna beat a dead horse here, right?
Did he die?
But we need to respect and submit to the authorities that God has placed over us. Okay? Again, this is so blunt and basic and black and white in Scripture, right?
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 2, verses 13 and 14 says, "Submit yourself for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether to the king as the supreme authority or to governors as those sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to praise those who do right." I mean, can we be any more clear than what Peter tells us to do there?
Right.
So first and foremost, our role is to respect and submit the authorities that God has placed over us, because he's the one who has instituted them, right? Yeah. I mean, we looked at other verses earlier, saying the same thing, Daniel and Romans, So just respect and submit to authority. It's pretty basic. Okay. Don't be stupid, especially if you're a professing Christian. Okay.
Right. Like you see videos, because now everybody's videoing everything in life,
Oh, yeah.
You get pulled over for doing, 80 miles an hour in a 50, and now you're mad at the cop. I mean, like, yes, I said I was, like, why did I sit in the median while you're coming downhill? But seriously, right? You see things like that on social media, things that, now this guy's acting like a fool because he's mad at the police. Well, you were breaking the law, for one, the law that was put there for you to obey, and two, the officer is doing his job that he's been put there to do.
Exactly. So again, number one, super easy. Just respect and submit to the authorities that God has placed over you.
And if you don't, then be prepared for
the repercussions of it. Right. Number two, again, we've talked about this one as well, but I think this one probably even is more important than the last one, right? Because this is one of the things that we struggle with, even more so than not respecting and submitting to authority. Number two, give God your worship, not earthly kings and rulers. Again, we talked about this before. And Jesus, even when he was being tempted by Satan, and Satan is like, "Hey, I will give you all the kingdoms of the world," and Jesus is like, well, I think at that one, he's like, depart from me.
We're done.
We're done here. But this is what he says. Jesus says to Satan, "It is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." And so then I think there's an aspect, for us where we need to stop and consider, like, okay, who are we worshiping?
Right.
Where does our allegiance actually lie? Is it with an earthly king, an earthly ruler, a political party? Is that who we're worshiping? Is that who we're pledging allegiance to? Right? Or are we giving God our worship? He's the only one who rightfully deserves it. And he's the only one to whom it's owed. Right? He's the only one worthy of our worship. All right. So let's stop elevating and putting all of these different people on our pedestals, thinking that they're going to be our saviors, when they're not. They just end up being lesser gods and false gods, And so what ends up happening is we end up, we start, worshiping idols. We're committing idolatry.
I think we fall into that so often and so easily.
Political idolatry is so detrimental to the church and to us as Christians. There's no doubt about that, And so stop and consider, like, who are you worshiping? Where's your allegiance? Give your worship and your allegiance to God, because him alone you shall serve, right? Number three, simply trust the Lord's sovereignty in establishing your earthly rulers. Again, Daniel chapter 2, God is the one who establishes kings and tears them down. Okay. If we truly believe that God is in control of all things, if we believe that he is in control of all authorities, if we believe that he owns everything, even the Caesars,
even the cattle on 1,000 hills,
and the cattle on 1,000 hills. Like, if we believe that He's in control of all those things, if we truly believe that He's sovereign, then we should
trust in that.
Then we should be able to trust that He knows what He's doing.
Right. When we're voting for president, and there's the two candidates, and probably one candidate is probably a little more aligned with how we believe than another. So that's the one we're voting for, and that's the one we're praying that, Lord, please, But maybe sometimes that candidate that we truly believe is more like the way we believe doesn't make it. Well, the Lord is in control of that. And so there's times that the one that we believe is the one that is would be the best for us doesn't always make it.
Right.
But the Lord is in control of who wins and who doesn't. He's the one that's going to put that person in place, whether we think that they're the best, and that if we think that they that they follow, so to speak, follow the word. The word, Well, He's in control of that. So there's times when our candidate that we think is best doesn't win, and it's like, Lord, why? Well, because He's in control. And
there's a reason, there's a purpose behind it.
Exactly, and it's His plan.
And again, I think that's just where it goes back to just trust that God knows what He's doing.
Right. Trust His process. Right. We always say trust the process. Trust His process.
He is sovereign. He is the one who's orchestrating, and He's the one who's establishing these. And we may vote one way, and what you said, like, I remember, I can't remember if it was, I think it was the first time Trump might have been elected, I can't remember, but it was the not my president whole thing, not my president. Actually, he is. Whether you like it or
others
not,
that I thought weren't my president, but he's the president.
Whether you like it or not, whether you voted for that individual or not, and the thing is, I could say that for anybody. I could say that for any authority. I could say that for a manager, where I work. Not my boss. I can do that.
No, Jesus is my boss.
But guess what? It really doesn't matter.
Because that's who's put in authority over you. Period.
This is who. Not only just this is who's in authority over you. This is who God has put in authority over you. Okay, so then trust His sovereignty. He's over all of them, anyways. Why don't we? So instead of putting our trust in this earthly one, let me put my trust in the heavenly one, who is in control of all of the earthly ones.
Right.
If my trust is in Him, and I'm trusting in God and His sovereignty, in who He has chosen to establish as authority, then it should enable me to submit to their authority.
Whether I like it or not.
Whether I like it or not, easier. Because I'm not trusting in that person. I'm trusting that God has placed him there for a reason. Here's the fourth one, and I would probably say the last one, I guess. And I think this is one that I think so often we fail to do as well. Right? And it's simply to pray for those in authority over you. So the Apostle Paul in his letter to Timothy, Timothy chapter 2, Paul tells Timothy this: "First of all, then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people." But then he says even something else: "For kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way." So Paul says, hey, thanksgivings, prayers, supplications, intercessions, those need to be made for all people. Right. But it's almost like he puts this, additional thing and said, and especially for kings and all who are in high positions. So then the question is, okay, stop and consider, when was the last time you actually prayed for the people who are in authority over you?
When they're back behind you with blue flashing lights, Lord, please, please,
let him be gracious.
Please. Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. Soften his heart.
Yeah.
Soften my ticket. Yeah.
But like, seriously, when's the last time?
Like, are they on our regular prayer request? Our little prayer list of
are you praying for your mayor? Are you praying for, again, your commissioners, your school board members, your sheriffs?
You're praying for
your governor.
Are you praying for your tax collector?
Yeah, exactly.
Praying they get a flat tire? No, right? It's true.
Like, are you praying for your boss?
Yeah, are you praying for your boss? Are you praying? Let's take it down a notch to younger. Are you praying for your teacher? Are you praying for your principal?
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to pray for my teachers that they would
let you pass.
Let me pass, or be sick and not make it to school. No, I'm kidding. But right.
But it's almost like the least that we could do, and technically what should be the easiest thing to do.
And it's not even taxed.
No.
Pray for them.
Just pray for them. And I'll guarantee this 100%. If we would be faithful in praying for the authorities that God has placed over us, okay, it's going to make it easier for us to submit to them.
Right, to follow their laws, their rules, their instruction.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like pray for those who are in authority over you. Pray for their wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Pray that God would open their eyes to the truth, to be able to see the truth.
Right.
That the Lord would give them discernment,
Mm-hmm.
And maybe sober judgment,
Sober?
Sober. Well, that's there may be some who definitely need to be sober.
Sober? Yeah.
But like good judgment.
Yes. Yes.
Pray those things. Pray for their souls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? If they're following Christ or not, pray for their soul. Pray that again, that God would just reveal himself to them.
Yeah.
Whether for the first time or whether to draw them closer to him.
First time in a long time.
But like stop for a minute, consider, when was the last time you prayed for them?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then why don't you stop right now and pray for them?
Right.
That's literally the least that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
But it may be the most powerful thing that we can do.
Yeah.
Whether it's a president, a governor, a mayor, whoever, the amount of things that they have to deal with every single day.
Can you imagine? You think you got it rough dealing with me every day.
Well, I do.
No, you do. I know you do. But yeah, I can't even imagine. You imagine their emails and their phone calls and their text messages. Oh my word.
And so there's an aspect of empathy, I think, that comes into it too. So it's like, if you take a minute and you consider, okay, how much stuff do I have to deal with every single day? All right, now consider your boss.
Yeah.
They're having to deal with more.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your mayor, your commissioner.
Can you imagine
your
mayor, the commissioners in the area, the sheriff, and just go on up the ladder as it goes higher. Can you imagine the hate those people deal with every day?
Yeah.
The just the nasty hate they by mail, by email, by people coming and meeting.
Yeah. And then again, I think
I
you did it just a second ago too. Like, make it more personal. Like kids.
Yeah.
Are you praying for your parents?
Mm-hmm.
Like God has entrusted you to them.
Right.
He's put them over you as your authority.
Mm-hmm.
Man, pray for your parents. They need wisdom. They need just as much wisdom as a president does.
Yeah, they need wisdom. They need patience when dealing with you. And then, are the kids praying for their teachers? Teachers have a rough go.
They do, especially this day.
Way rougher than they did. Well, they had it pretty rough when I was there, and certainly they had it rough when you were there. But yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. So again, like, it's so easy for us to jump to the macro,
but
and miss the small day-to-day authorities that we encounter. Man, pray for all of them.
It's the least, simplest, freest thing we could do.
Yeah.
Is that a lot?
That was a lot. I got to follow that. But yeah.
The least thing we can do.
Yeah.
The least of it. The simplest of it. And the freest of it.
Yeah.
We can do.
So our role, number 1, respect and submit the authorities that God has placed over you. Mm-hmm. Number 2, give God your worship, not earthly kings or rulers. Number 3, trust the Lord's sovereignty in establishing your earthly rulers. And number 4, pray for those in authority over you. Let's just take the time to stop and consider, are you doing those things?
Yeah.